Covelo is my home. I grew up here as a young person until I was 5, and then I moved away and I just come back home. And when I lived in Willits, when I lived there, I was comfortable. When I lived there, it was a little more, a bigger town and more people. Probably like, 3 times the amount of people.
Yeah.
And more stores, and bigger school. And it was still in another valley though, and so it was similar, and so I still had the nature everywhere.
Yeah.
To experience that. And so I really grew up, my home, anywhere I go, is in nature.
Yeah.
No matter if I go to the city, I always look for the trees that I see. And I always look for the birds.
Yeah.
And I look to the people and I see how we move and how we interact with each other. And that's nature. People are nature also.
Yeah.
Just as the birds and all of the animals, we live of the earth. We eat the food, we drink the water, we breathe the air, all the plants.
Yeah.
And every being, we share the air and the waters and the foods.
I've always felt like how when you're walking down a street or something even like this with like the booths and markets, like you feel like you have to or walking into a store, at least in the city, if you want to do something for free, it's kind of you have to be outside. Anything inside, it's you're either window shopping or have to spend money, and then there's no loitering laws, which is basically spending time outside without money to spend. That's how it feels. It's it almost feels like you're not welcome there unless you're gonna spend money. And nature's always free to you. I feel like most of the time, unless someone owns it or something, but it should always be available to people, to just feel like they belong there.
Right. If I go to the ocean where I collect all these shells, it's like going to the beach and not having much money, and just having what we brought with us, and then going onto the beach and just being amazed by the how big the ocean is, and then seeing what I can find, and this always makes me feel rich when I find it, and I begin to get so excited and I start gathering as much as I can, and then I remember, I don't want to grab every single one, because there's other people too that would love to share in the abundance and the wealth, because the world is so healthy and abundant these days with knowledge of what we can do to help one another. And that's the thing, is for me, it's always making sure I can do something to help someone, and so I brought everything here just for free. Everything that I've gathered, I just want to make sure I brought something for anyone that wanted some, just to have it.
Cool.
And so that's
These
good.
are
so much abundance.
These look artificial, but they're not. The blue and purple.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of oil, right? The colors in the oil.
Yeah, that's really.
With water, oils and water. But there's natural oils everywhere in the all of the plants and the people and everything, and that's what oil is under the ground, is the the life that has went so far into the earth and just become a part of the earth and the blood of the earth.
Yeah.
And nowadays we drive things and we move so fast, and there's so many things we can say about the way we use and interact with the earth. I see people really slowing down really a lot, and so we can stop thinking so much about everything and simplify it to, hey, do I have water to drink?
Yeah.
Take a breath, Do I have food? Okay, take a breath. And that's what I need. And shelter is another part of my needs, right? Because if it's too cold, I have to build a fire, or I have to build a shelter, and I have to find a blanket or something, or I have to find someone else to share our warmth together. So now these days, a lot of people are being given their needs, and then asked, what do you want? And the needs and wants is when we can slow down and recognize that we only need a few things to survive and be happy. Then the rest of it is just wanting. And how do we go about wanting in a good way?
There's lots of psychological studies on financial stuff and how income affects your mental health, and it's pretty much stability. Is if you're below stability, then you have more stress in your life, and if you're not stable, then your mental health's going to be lower than people with money. But once you hit stability, past that, it kind of turns into an addiction thing. Stability is really what you need, and then if you go below or above it, with just buying, purchasing things, being a consumer, it gets worse the further you are from it. It's vision, if your prescription is 0, then you have perfect vision. If it's negative or positive, it's bad. And that's kind of how it is with money.
And my vision for the world is more meetings, more gatherings to share what we have to say. And so the community can begin to become in charge of our own lives and the things that we need to bring things back to the self, back to the town, back to the home, and create what we need in our own homes and our own families, right? The happiness is, and the peace and the joy is all right here, just in our own interactions, in our own space, and all of these things. These days, our food comes from, a lot of it comes from out of countries, other countries, and they have so much abundance of food that they send it to us and we pay for it. I mean, they grow these foods. I see more of a fluid, more of a balanced exchange of the things that we have abundance of, and a lot better balance, And the money is just a want to, because I have a want to sell a lot of these things, and I kept coming back to, well, I don't want to sell it for so much, I got it for free. The earth just gave this to me. I didn't even have to ask the earth for it, but then I come to this learning that it's good to ask the plants and let them know that why you're gathering a plant if it's in the wild, because it is already alive and living in its home. Not to take it from its home without making sure that you acknowledge that life and that presence that is established, and then you can feel better about it. Because I was in a place where I wanted to gather the plants, but it was hard for me to gather them because I cared so much about this plant that I didn't just want to take it out of its home. And so I'm learning that the plants are giving. Our beings just totally giving to us, and it's our responsibility that I've come to learn to be thankful for them, to be thankful for what's given so much to us. And that's our lesson here, in life, is to learn and remember to be thankful for all that we're given, because we're given so much, and it's something to wake up to, is that water is free and should not be charged, because water is necessary for life. And it's not something to be asked for $1 for, or even a quarter for. Even if you have to go through a little bit of effort to bring it to somebody, it should not be asked for anything in return, because that kid, maybe a child or maybe an elder, needs water to drink. And that's the important thing for us to remember. we're talking about life and about water and how important it is that we share the things we have with each other, like these, and helping people if they need help.
I had a similar thing, like what you said about the shells. Like everywhere near where I live is like these yellow wildflowers that come out in spring only, and I was like looking at them and I wanted to pick them, but I wouldn't do anything with them if I picked them. Like what's the point? Like they're really here just to look at, and like looking at them, it makes me happy. I don't need to take it, you know.
Yeah, really good place to be, you know, in yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and a lot of the time, people need healing or require some kind of healing in their spirit, you know, and to be happier. And the flowers are always ready to give themselves for you to be happy. So if you feel that in yourself, to be in need of happiness, to be a little bit happier or more in peace in yourself, it's always a good thing to pick a flower.
Yeah. Well, I didn't pick them because they were only yellow flowers, so I wasn't gonna like make a bouquet of only yellow flowers.
Yeah,
they're already there.
That's something I like to do is pick one and pick another and put them together.
Well, that was the only one there, so I didn't take them, but that, I don't know.
The earth is giving to everyone, yeah. And it's important. It's important to remember and pick a flower if you want to, you know.
Yeah.
But even if it's important to remember that the earth loves us and provides everything that we need. And as people, it's our responsibility to be thankful and make sure everyone gets what they need.
Yeah, it would probably be better coming from Katie, but she was talking about this rule is like, don't take the first, don't take the last, don't take more than half, and don't take more than you need.
Right.
We're like picking plants and to give something back, like hair or something.
That's something that comes from like really feeling in yourself that you're a part of it, you know.
Yeah.
And that's a teaching that's been taught to people to give something in return. And if you don't have something to give, like maybe you have no hair at all, or something is your words, you know, and your appreciation and your gratitude. There's always a giving factor because, you know, when we're thankful, we're giving our thanks. That's something we celebrate every year as a country, you know, is to give thanks every year. And that's something I practice every time I have a bite of food or a drink of water, or anytime I do anything. I wake up in the morning and I practice. I remember I'm thankful for this day, for the sun rose, and that I was warm in the night. And everything that I care about, I remember to put my whole self right there where I care about it, and to remember, you know, right here, this is where I can do something, and I care about all these people in the whole world. And before, not very long ago, I wasn't able to see Africa when I'm in America, and now I can through something that's been given to the people. And what do? We have so much we can do now. That I stay in my prayers or my good thoughts for the people that are doing so much so fast and reaching so far and trying to reach out into the stars already before we've established peace and harmony in our home. We have to have a good, you know, healthy home before we go into the stars. You see so many things happening so fast. And people love to go fast, it seems, you know, to talk and talk and talk, and that's why I'm learning to slow down. And the earth is helping me and helping everyone. And to breathe, you know, when the wind blows, no matter where you are, you can feel the wind where you are, or just breathe it out.
Covelo told me, well, he was telling me that going on walks, you learn and see a lot and interact a lot more than driving. And I used to walk to school with him like in elementary school, and you spend a lot more time, and your body does a lot more movements, and all that stuff. Like I would kick a rock all the way to school, and you couldn't do that in the car. Like you could look out the window, but that is kind of like slowing down, and yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, walking is very important. Riding a bike even, is slower than driving in a car. Going slower is important these days to slow down. Slow down, a lot, because we see so many people so fast. It's good to share words with somebody before departing, or even to share a smile. Slow down so much that you can see the people that you walk by. And do our best to have a good thought about one another that we see, especially when they're in a hard place. We're all a family. We all live of the home of earth, and it's a big house. And it's important that we see each other and have good thoughts of one another. And if we know somebody needs something and we tried to give them something and they didn't want it, or they're in such a hard place, it's always the best thing just to have a good thought about them. Just to say, well, I sure hope that they find what they need, I sure hope that we can create that in our own self, and in the biggest way, we're all connected, in our care for one another.
I can't wait.
Want to talk to? You can sit down. We're talking about life in the world and the city and the country. And everything that comes through.
There was apparently an experiment about phrenology, which is like physical psychology, and how like they got sweat samples of someone who was going to go skydiving, so adrenaline sweat, versus someone who was like on a run, which is like tired sweat, and then they had other people smell it, and like they tracked and they felt like the same feelings like lit up in their brains. So, and if you think about it, like all emotions come with some kind of physical thing. Like anger, you get hot in your face, and like sadness, you might, I don't know, but all that stuff can, you share it with people just by being around them.
I know what you're saying. I realize how smart we are as people and how much we've learned. Like I said, the knowledge and the abundance of knowledge that we have. And that's why a lot of the time I become a little bit angry or really angry at what's being done or not done to help one another. The people, and then rather than being angry, a lot of times I'll just cry because I feel it's not in my power or my capability, but I'm coming to realize that I can do a lot more than I have known that I've been able to, especially in my prayers or my good thoughts about others, and hoping that we'll do the right thing as people. And all of this stuff that we've come to know, like you say, is something that I pray that we openly share with one another, so that as a family, I don't keep everything I know from my brother or my sister. All the good things that I know, I share, so we can make something really good between us all. And if I have something that I don't like, then I don't have to share it. And that's our what we're given is our choice to give of ourselves or not give of ourselves. And to be giving, I see is what I can do. I can give everything that I can, and a lot of people give their lives, and that's something, because I hope for people to all come together and share openly what we are learning as humans, so that as people we can become the family that we are already, more closely, and the way we interact. It's important to share what we know that can help somebody. Rather than keep it, or the best thing is happening right now. There's a lot of people that hold the knowing that the sun rises and the sun sets.
Yeah.
And the river flows, and the plants grow, and we can learn all that we can about it, you know, and we can see as much beauty as we can. And you know, what do we do? It's breathe it in and breathe it out and share it.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to be able to do for others, but we can have good thoughts about others.
There's always something going on, like within like the dirt, like there's life in everything, and life above you, life bigger than you and smaller than you, like, and the center is really just you, and the center is different for everyone. The center is like your, I don't know, and you get to control kind of what you're feeling no matter what's going on around you. Like there's always something constant, like water, movement, life, and like then there's things that change and go up and down, like the stuff on the news, like negativity, positivity, but then there's those constant things. I don't know.
That's yourself showing you, you know. That's yourself showing you, you know, a lot of who you are, you know.
Yeah.
That's a good experience to have, and it's important to remember to breathe and let things out and let things go, right?
Yeah.
And know your center, like you say. Hello.
Wow.
Well,
also, the psychology class I took last year too taught me like that there's like a whole world in my brain, and all the cells are living their own world, and for them they're the center of the world. For me, I'm the center of the world. For like the center of the world just is, it's like everywhere.
It's like having a thought, you know.
Yeah.
And like, where does the thought come from a lot of the time? And then like quieting my thought, and then it's not so much, but having an effort towards my thought.
Yeah.
You know, to quiet myself and organize myself so that I can do something more because I know I'm able to.
It's kind of part of the slowing down thing too, because you can worry about, there's so many things to worry about, but if you do slow down and like sit down and breathe, like time feels longer.
No, I'm working out, relaxing more, and doing what I feel like I want to do, like being amongst the people more.
Yeah.
When a lot of times I just want to be alone somewhere in nature.
Yeah.
And I see my wants also in the place of the people and wanting to do my best. So I have to be strong to do what I want to do. That is like maybe a part of a greater part of me, maybe that, you know, is closer involved with what the people are doing rather than just being in nature by myself. But it's both such a big part of me that it's important to know all of ourselves, you know?
Yeah. Both.
To find ourselves in nature and to come back to the people and to share it with the people.
Yeah. Both are like important. That's why I wanna travel, so I can go in and out of like cities where it's crowded and overwhelming, but I like that. Like I like people watching and stuff where there's a lot of people, and then going back to being alone, driving through like long road trips, you're always driving through some kind of farmland, and it's really nice. Like the boredom is nice almost, because you get more time to like be in your head. So I plan on traveling like as much as I can.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It's pretty.
I have that want also to travel. I want to establish this home in a healthier way, because there's a lot of need here as a community and a family.
Yeah.
I want to establish my home and be here with my daughter while she's growing. That's another part of me. When I was having a hard time, I felt like I needed to go, and I didn't, and that was one of the main reasons why I didn't go.